Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, your weekly edition on Arizona real estate. And boy, oh boy, they're throwing everything at us but the kitchen sink this week. Just when you think you're kind of getting the read on where we're headed, out comes the government with a couple of proposals. One just I don't see working at all, and another one, well, it's already had an impact, and that's this one right here. Mortgage rates dropped below 6% for the first time in 3 years as Trump official says purchase of mortgage-backed securities are starting. They've said they're going to buy over $200 billion in mortgage bonds, pushed mortgage rates down to the lowest level in nearly 2 years, which is interesting because the central bank has been getting rid of mortgage-backed securities at about the same rate. Now, we all know that Trump wants mortgage rates lower, and everybody's waiting to see what they're going to do after their Fed meeting in January. This just make that Fed meeting a great big nothing burger. I mean, we've already lowered the rates just by saying we're going to buy 200 billion in mortgage-backed securities, more than we would see if we back off on the interest rates by 0.25 in a couple of weeks. So that's like, okay, never mind what they do. We've already done it. So kind of an end run, isn't it? Here's where we're sitting at today. It's actually a little bit lower than this. It's showing 6.06. I've seen some 5.9s out there. That's the first shot across the bow for the end of this week. But get this one. Earlier, Trump taking steps to ban corporate home purchases. Now, for me, I look at this and I go, I don't know if that's going to have that much of an impact, because I think, and I'm going to show you the Cromford market, kind of says the same thing. Says, you know what? The house is out of the barn already. What he is proposing is a ban on institutional investors. Trump took to Truth Social earlier today, announcing his intention to prohibit certain investors from scooping up single-family properties. Now, at first blush, this sounds like, okay, good. Good old BlackRock's been going in there and buying all these homes. Now they're not going to be allowed to do that anymore. Gets a little wishy-washy and a little complicated. First of all, they were doing this back in 2010 when, quite honestly, we really needed them to do this. These homes are dilapidated, sitting empty, neighborhoods were decaying. And they came in and said, you know what? This might not be a bad investment. Let's buy all these homes in bulk. Let's fix them up. Let's put renters in there and let's hold them long term. And it's paid off for them. And it helped neighborhoods recover after the big financial crisis. Nobody else could do it. So that's how they got into the game. They continued up to 2021, a little bit into 2022. And yes, some people were finding themselves being outbid with cash offers, but it wasn't really that big of a number. There were also a lot of cash offers that you were seeing anyway that were not institutional investors. But let's look at what they're saying here in the Cromford report, and it's saying, even so, implementing the change will be much harder than announcing it. This is because the government must decide how to define an institutional investor. The big ones are easy, but how small can they be before they are no longer considered an institution? Most mom and pop investors, who in aggregate own far more rental properties than the institutions, operate as LLCs. So they are companies. So they are companies too. Presumably, the government would not want to ban mom and pop investors. If they did, then this source of rental homes would plummet. It would dry up. The other thing is too, well, then the big institutional investors will just break up into smaller LLCs to skirt the rules. It's kind of like, could have unintended consequences. And I just don't see it having an impact today because the percentage of institutional investors we have right now is in single digits. So I really just don't see that having much of an impact. And it says here, here's the biggest problem though, and I'll highlight this for you. And again, this is from the Cromford people. It says, here's the biggest problem. It's trying to solve a problem that has already gone away. There are a few purchases by institutional investors in today's market. Banning them would make almost no difference in the real world that exists in 2026, especially in our Phoenix market area. We're not seeing it. Now, if I look at our Cromford Market Index last week, I was saying we're going to start seeing a lot more red. because inventory is going to start increasing, and inventory has increased, but not enough to really change these numbers. So we're not seeing red yet. We see a couple, meaning that supply is outstripping demand, a little wider gap. So nothing there. If you want to see the details in this, use the link down below and subscribe to my newsletter. I send this out every Monday. And also, if there's something else you want to see me include in that newsletter, send me an email and I'll try to pop that in there for you. So we're not seeing a whole lot going on there. But when I look at my simple little 7-day moving average here, and I'm going to pull this up for you, I took a look at number of new listings coming on, canceled, expireds, back on market, and of course they spiked. And I look at that and I go, wow, look at that. Here we go. Well, go back and look at the same week last year. And folks, nothing has changed. And my program has given me a fit. There we go. Look at the number of new listings. They're the same. 2026, 2025 is same. Cancels or back on market, slightly higher, not much. Cancels, identical. Expireds, identical. Net new listings, barely up at all. So while you hear people say, well, here we go, here they come, I'm just going to sit back and say, well, not really. We've been here before and we see it happening again. So we're going to see more new listings coming on because it's January and we see it showing up. I'm going to show you right here in active listings, popping up slightly higher than last year. Last year, 20,933. This year, 22,958. If we continue that gap, we'll end up at about 28,000. That's considerably higher than we've been for quite some time. So, but that's where we're headed. It's a seasonal bump right now. People are getting back in. Already showed you this. Let me show you what's going on here. Number of price changes. Look how they dipped over the holiday weeks. Now they're cutting their prices coming into January. That's good for buyers. It's not a bad idea for sellers either. You need to get real. You need to get close to the market, and we're starting to see that. Here's year-over-year change in monthly average sales price per square foot. You can see how it's gone down right here, and it's gone down less than 10% overall, down less than 5%, nowhere near where we ended up down here in 2023 as we plummeted. But it's not an up year, that's for sure. And here's our pending listings. And it looks like we're going to have a repeat we did last year. Hugging week after week, first 2 weeks going in exactly like we did last year. So what I'm seeing is they're throwing everything at us and saying, okay, we want to try this, we want to try that. I'm kind of at the feeling like if you really want to change things, and I heard somebody on a financial show just the other day say what I've been saying for probably about a year now. Get rid of the capital gains tax on real estate. Make a moratorium for 2 years. No capital gains tax for 2 years, or at least change the indexing. In other words, make it easier for people to get out of their homes with all of this increase in equity they have without getting bit with high taxes. That will free up more inventory. That's clean. It's easy to do. We got enough tax revenue coming in anyway, record amounts. We just need to cut spending. I think that's the cleanest way to do than to try and add this regulation. I mean, think back. How are you going to regulate what's a large institutional buyer? What is large? What are you going to do with mom and pops? I mean, it's a mess. Leave it alone. I don't see anything good coming out of that. So we'll watch that and see what happens. I just don't see anything coming to fruition. Remember the talk about the 50-year mortgage? They've taken that off the table. So the next few weeks, you're going to see things pop on, pop off. We'll see what happens. You want to stay on top of it, be sure and watch me here. And shoot me an email if you have any questions at rick@rickhelps.com. Take care.